Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. Yes, as the title suggests, this video is all about my message to the new players on Zero B. And my message to you all is very simple. I've noticed recently with the server updating to version 1.20.1 that there have been a lot of new players joining the server, which is really surprising, especially looking back at how the state of the server has been in the past few months, maybe year and a half. And I'm really happy to see that there have been a lot of new players joining 0B0T. You know, it's really good that the server's getting a lot of traffic. But at the same time, it's not retaining those players like it should. You know, it's not good for a server's health whenever a lot of the players that are joining it aren't staying on for very long. You know, they're joining for a very short period of time, and then after that, they're leaving to go play on a different server, or they just didn't like the atmosphere. Or maybe they just didn't like the players that they experienced whenever they first logged on, which is a shame because there are a lot of different unique people that are really cool on this server that I think really could be friends with anybody. And that brings me to the main point of this video, is that a lot of these new players, and this is my message to you if you're watching, if you're new to the server or you haven't heard of this server at all, 0b0t.org is definitely a pretty cool place in the world of Minecraft. It's a really unique server where the community is large, but at the same time small enough to the point where most people know one another and are friends with one another, based with one another. And so it's very easy to get involved with different groups and different people and projects. And that's really what I want a lot of these new players to do, is because whenever new players have been joining the server, they don't stay for very long. Like I'd said earlier about the server retention. It'll say in the chat, so-and-so has joined the server for the first time. And maybe they'll say a few things in the chat. Since they just joined, they'll say, hey, can I get some gear or something like that, something very basic and very simple. And they'll get a reply with, oh, fuck off, you stupid bitch, or kill yourself, or yeah, maybe I'll think about giving you some gear. And maybe they do. I know I've been known to occasionally give people some gear if they're new and maybe they're struggling, or maybe they haven't heard of the server before and they're interested in trying it out, maybe staying for a little bit. And I don't do that all the time. I do that every once in a while, which, yeah, some people might think it's bad. Yeah, it is bad sometimes, because you do want new players to have to work for the gear that they're going to be getting. At the same time, you also don't want to be complete dicks to them with a server of this size, because then they might be turned off by the fact that, oh, this might be a cool server to play on. It might be a cool alternative server to 2B2T. And at the end of the day, that there have been some players that have just stopped playing whenever they joined because people were just being too much. They're acting like too much of an asshole. I'm not saying you shouldn't act like an asshole to new players. You definitely should, because that's just the culture of anarchy servers. It's just unique like that. But these new players really need to get involved with groups, especially, because 0B is a server that has been really well known for the amount of groups on the server, whether it be building groups, map art groups, PvP groups, exploring groups, griefing groups, you name it. Anything that you can think of in Minecraft, any type of playing style that somebody might find appealing, there's a group for it on 0B. I know this server is home to a huge map arting community and a huge PvP community. If you like either of those things, join the server and check it out. I mean, it sucks because recently, because the server has been declined in player count, there haven't been as many PvPers at spawn. But I know they get on every once in a while, and they're on for certain periods of time. There used to be a huge group called L Wars that would have spawn fight clubs every once in a while. I was never involved with it, but I know it was around, and I know it existed. So yeah, if you're a huge PvPer, yeah, join the server. Try to find one of these groups. Try to find these players that hang around, because there's always people that hang around spawn looking to PvP. The only thing you really need to worry about is getting gear to fight them with. That's, if you're into PvP, that's really the only thing you got to worry about, is getting the gear and like getting a stash of gear so that you can PvP. If you're a builder, I know there's, like I said, a huge map arting community on the server. There's an event that's hosted every year called Maptober, where it's a competition to see who can create the most maps, the most map art in the month of October. And it's a huge deal. There's a significant rise in player count from the old players coming back to make maps. And it's just a whole lot of fun because everybody like hangs out. There'll be new bases that'll pop up. And it's just a fun time on the server. So if you're into building, join one of those groups. And then if you're into exploring or griefing or base hunting, there's groups for that I have heard of. There are groups specifically for griefing, specifically for exploration and base hunting, and there are groups that are like both of those things. Like they'll base hunt and then grief the bases that they find. And honestly, we need more of those players on this server, because I feel like too many bases get started, or too many projects get started, and there are no griefers on the server to, thwart their progress or to grief their bases. So people will build a base, which is fine, which is really good for the server, but then there's nobody around to grief it or to search for it to grief it. And so then they get bored, and then maybe they'll make a new base, which is also fine. And then if that cycle of them just getting bored at the base and nobody's griefing it continues, eventually they'll be like, yeah, maybe I don't want to play on this server. Maybe I want to play on a different server that maybe has a larger player count, where people might be searching for my base more. So it gives me that sort of fear of my base being destroyed whenever. It kind of instills that fear into me, so that there's a sense of urgency in my building, and it gives me a sense of accomplishment whenever I finish a large project. And we need more players like that also. So my main message of this video is, please get involved with the community on this server. It really needs it. I've spent a lot of my time on this server. A lot of my free time has been dumped into playing on 0B, and I've had a blast. And I know a lot of people can experience the same things that I have in their own way. And they might have maybe as much fun that I have. Then again, everybody's experience with the server, and just like anything in life, is different and unique to them. So I'll leave you with that. But yeah, thanks again so much for tuning in to this video. If you watched to the end, thank you so much. You definitely did not have to listen to me rant for almost 10 minutes here. And if you want, please consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like on this video and dropping a comment in the comments section, because it really helps boost my channel and the algorithm. And obviously my following isn't very large, so I'm going to leave it with that. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good night.